Hello guys, you're welcome to Mega 4J Engineering. At Mega 4J, we're gonna be talking a lot of stuff, and I just wish you an amazing welcome to this channel. And here we're going to be looking at Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, and After Effects to power your projects, as well as using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in Adobe Dreamweaver for web development. For SolidWorks tutorial, visit one of our channels, Design Genius with Eduardo Agbo. You're going to enjoy it there. Follow us, Mega 4J Engineering, on Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button if you want to notice when our contents are released. Today we are going to be answering a very simple question. Should I study MATLAB in 2018? MATLAB is a scripting language, an engineering tool that goes a long way to help in basic office usage just by writing small programs that you run it in your computer and at the office and execute tasks faster and easier because you just run repeated codes and execute the same function. If you are a student and you are in school and you want to realize an amazing project, you want to come out outstanding, I definitely recommend that. As an engineering student, whatever field of engineering you are in, MATLAB is definitely going to be one of the ways to go. MATLAB is used by amazing companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and even NASA for aeronautics sciences, and it helps them a lot to model and simulate these systems before they are ever realized. Because when we talk about the construction of expensive satellites, you definitely want to save yourself the stress of constructing expensive prototypes, and therefore will require that you simulate these systems and see its functioning before you ever get into proper construction. And therefore MATLAB goes a long way to help you in solar systems and energy. Talking about sustainable energy, MATLAB is a way forward for solar systems, as well as the modern science that is evolving, robotics and artificial intelligence. You're definitely gonna need MATLAB to evolve in these fields of engineering, and therefore you might consider learning it even for the usage of analyzing complex data, and even modeling and simulating the market for banking companies, like using Monte Carlo simulations, and even just analyzing the data that you obtain at the level of the industry. Sometimes they are really complex. Your simple statistical software cannot be able to do it, and because they don't write programs, you cannot run repeated codes, and therefore MATLAB will be a way forward for you if you work in such an institute. In chemical industries, it is definitely employed, as well as most of the times in pharmaceutical industries. Equally, MATLAB is hugely used even in simulating the production of products, as well as in process industries, simulating the process line, modeling and coming out with possible solutions. It definitely helps a lot, even in AI and machine learning. Some people will be surprised to notice that even in transport and logistics, you can employ this software because you use its scripting language to write complex codes that are able to help you solve basic problems without having much stress. In research and development, man, there are a lot of data to analyze in research and development, and therefore MATLAB will help you analyze this data, and you can find yourself working in a research institute, and even in industrial waste management systems. MATLAB is hugely employed. It goes from the writing of simple algorithms to the development of complex codes using its scripting language, and therefore this is an absolute beginner tutorial. You shouldn't be frightened by this, but these are things that come along. Simulating real systems is definitely part of MATLAB's huge accomplishment, because it can help you be able to visualize real life context before ever realizing it. You can be able to come up with prototypes, simulate them, observe the results, and then before realizing. MATLAB is different from statistical software in that it can be able to handle complex data using complex equations. It can be brought down to simple scripts that execute these functions over and over. Therefore, this is a MATLAB this is a MATLAB interface. When you get into the MATLAB interface, you're definitely gonna notice this arrow here that helps you browse your directory where you store your files. Here you definitely just choose a disk on your PC, whether you're in a Mac or on a Windows, where you store your files, or even in OneDrive, wherever you want to store. I store mine in MATLAB Professional, for instance. You just browse in and all your files are stored there, and you can work. In MATLAB, you notice there's a command window. In the command window is a place where you can basically execute functions. You execute functions just by typing them, and they give you a result. Like, for instance, 5 plus 2 equals 7, A is equal to 2, for instance, B can equally be 3, and if I write A plus B, I'm definitely gonna have an answer of 5. So in the command window, you write basic commands and obtain the results immediate You can clear the command window simply by typing a CLC plus clear, as you just seen. You can equally write clear to clear the workspace. The workspace is a place where you notice the values were there and they just disappeared. To have a new script, you just click new, as you see, and therefore you have a new script. In the new script is where you can be able to store MATLAB functions like directly on the on your PC and work with it, because with the script you can be able to write down the commands and keep them, and when you write them and keep them, you can be able to run them over and over and over again. So when you write, for instance, if I write a plus b, or let me say I put in some a equal to this, which can be 2, or I put in b can equally be this, which can be 3, or I put in a plus b and I store it. Definitely if I want to execute this function, I'll just need to save this file, this is my script, and give it in the form of an extension, which will definitely be in the form of, which will definitely come out with the form of an M file. So MATLAB can have input and output arguments when you are defining functions. So one of the ways in which script works is that you usually have to define a function for the script to be able to work properly. If you are not writing a long script for where you have a lot of commands, you can have the simple comment box where you just need to click, as you see in the editor tab, you just need to click the comment, or maybe you go to the editor tab too to run commands that you have written on the script file. As you can see, you can save your project, and when you're saving your project, you need to make sure that it has the extension of the M file if you definitely want to keep your file and run it over and over again. Because in MATLAB, if you are not working in the command window, it means that you are working with the script, and the scripts have the extension of .m, which is an M file, or it can be MLX, where it is MATLAB Lifesaver. But here in this case, for instance, we are working with project and we just save it as an M file. At each time you want a new file, as you can see, you can just click on open to browse. These are functions that I've already browsed in the PC, or you can just simply come to command window and execute whatever task you want to execute. So MATLAB is simply very interesting. You can see the way I'm just playing on my command window. If I want to clear the workspace, I can just type CLC clear, and everything on the command window will go away, as well as I've just typed clear to clear the workspace, as you can see. And therefore MATLAB is very simple, not complex. Do not stress of yourself by worrying about, as I'm just moving my mouse over and over, focus not, but pay attention to what I'm saying, in the sense that if you understand this interface as an absolute beginner, you realize that you just need to master array operations, that is matrix, because we are working in the matrix laboratory. You just need to master a little bit of array operations and you will be good to go. In MATLAB, you equally have the Simulink box, which I have already opened. Simulink is a magical tool in MATLAB that helps you simulate electrical system, whatever form of differential equations you have. In fact, you can be able to model any real life system using this toolbox in MATLAB. It's actually very powerful. So apart from Simulink, there are other tools like, maybe let me just look at the layout. If you just look at the layout, you can choose the way your layout looks like, but by default I love it the way it looks, but you can just change it whatever way it suits you. But I love the default layout, as I'm just going to keep it that way because it works fine for me. So when you come to plot, you can see in the plotting interface you can plot all kinds of graphs. Whatever kind of graph you want to plot, you can plot them using MATLAB. And you can go to the MATLAB apps toolbox, where you are going to have a lot of tools, optimization tools, you're going to have curve fitting tools, you're going to have, like for instance, let's just look at, if you just look at the way I'm looking, just to click at the curve fitting tool for you to be able to see what the curve fitting tool looks like. Yeah, the curve fitting tool is definitely one of the most used tools in MATLAB, depending on how you want to make, what kind of curve you want to plot. So I just want to spare you all that, but if you look at the interface, it's very practical, very easy to use. You can be able to deploy apps, as I'm pointing to you there, deploy apps and package them to make Android apps. So MATLAB is definitely not as complex as you might think, because it's made up of a really comprehensive interface, an amazing scripting language. You can be able to publish your scripts, you can be able to view whatever you want to see. You use the view tab, but I love the publishing tab, where you can go to the publishing tab and click there to release your scripts that you have written for other people to use. So definitely in the course of this tutorial, some scripts might be released for you to use at one point in time. So I want to employ you to subscribe, like our channel, and stay tuned, because you're definitely gonna discover a lot of things here, especially if you are a beginner. For those who already know a little bit of coding and complex realizations in MATLAB, this is definitely not for you, because you're already used to all this interface. But if you are a beginner, this is one of the ways that we use functions. For instance, I have a function here, dynamics. I just opened the function for you to see the way we define function. This dynamics was just a simple function where we wrote to look at the dynamics of a reaction. So I can choose to save them. I just want to clear off everything and leave my command window. This is how you enter MATLAB and see the command window by default. By default, this is what you observe when you get in there, and it's only when you open a new script that those tabs open up for you to be able to write commands. So I want to be very, very direct to you and tell you that if you're considering learning this software, this is a channel you might want to start with if you are absolute beginner, and we are going to take you through the basics. As you have just seen, you see the interface is not really cumbersome the way you might think. MATLAB matrix laboratory sounds a little bit complex, but it's definitely very easy. It's an amazing interface, an interesting scripting language, and you don't need to stress. And I want to be very grateful to Abunde Sustainable Engineering, particularly the Institute of Mathematical Modeling and Information Technology, for providing us with a lot of information. You might consider subscribing to this channel, because here, as you subscribe even to Design Genius, for they support us equally. When you subscribe to this channel, you go a long way to promote education for engineers, and we want you to be part of the community. Like and share this our video. Leave your comments for us to know what you think. Mega 4J Engineering, good to go, and therefore you're definitely gonna lose nothing. Like, share, subscribe, and remain with us as we continue our journey